Let me dive straight into it. When we talk about the secret skill that makes someone truly addicted to you, the first thing most people assume is that it's about appearance. Maybe it's about dressing a certain way, having the right body, or always being perfectly put together. And while all of that can get you noticed, it's not what keeps someone coming back. The truth is, looks might grab attention, but energy is what makes a person unforgettable. The way you make someone feel when they're around you is what creates that lasting pull, that magnetic addiction they can't explain but can't walk away from either. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who wasn't conventionally the most attractive person in the room, yet everyone gravitated toward them? They had something about them, a vibe that made you want to be near them. That's energy. It's how they carry themselves, how they connect, how they bring emotions out of people. And this is the piece most people miss. They focus so much on surface level attraction that they forget what truly makes someone stay is the emotional experience they get in your presence. When you're with a man and you bring out joy in him, when you make him feel lighter after spending time with you than he did before, that becomes addictive. People are drawn to the places and people where they feel their best. If you're that person who elevates his mood, who makes him feel alive, he'll subconsciously crave more of you. And here's the beautiful part. It doesn't mean you have to be endlessly entertaining or fake a bubbly personality. It's not about being on all the time. It's about showing genuine warmth, having presence, listening deeply, and sharing energy that makes someone feel safe, valued, and excited at the same time. But here's where many people get it wrong. They confuse energy with performance. They think they need to impress, to always be funny, always be charming. And in doing so, they lose authenticity. Real energy isn't about putting on a show, it's about alignment with who you truly are. If you're grounded in yourself, if you radiate confidence from a place of self-acceptance, that naturally translates into an energy people can't resist. You become the person who doesn't drain others, but instead leaves them feeling fuller after being with you. That's the addiction. Now, the fascinating part is that energy is contagious. If you walk into a room carrying stress, negativity, or constant neediness, that's what you spread. People feel it even if you don't say a word. But if you walk in carrying positivity, calmness, and passion, people feel that too, and they want to be around it. A man may not even be able to articulate why he can't stop thinking about you, but it's because you represent a feeling he doesn't get elsewhere. You represent vitality, freedom, lightness. This is why the real secret skill is not trying to look perfect, but learning to cultivate your own state. When you nurture your own energy, through your passions, your friendships, your self-care, you naturally radiate something powerful. And that's far more magnetic than any outfit or makeup could ever be. The most attractive people are the ones who don't just bring beauty to a room, but bring a feeling. That's what makes someone addicted. It's not what you look like standing in the mirror, it's how you make them feel standing in front of you. One of the most overlooked secrets in attraction is space. Most people think closeness is built by being around each other all the time, constantly texting, calling, or making sure they're always available at a moment's notice. But here's the truth. What makes someone crave you is not your constant presence. It's actually the contrast of your presence and your absence. When you are always available, when you never allow a man the chance to feel what it's like to miss you, you take away the very thing that makes him want you more. Scarcity creates value. Think about it. What do we crave most? The things that aren't always within arm's reach. When you make the mistake of always being there, of dropping everything for him, of making him the center of your entire schedule, you send an unspoken message you are too easy to access. And the human brain is wired to undervalue what's too easily obtained. It doesn't mean he's ungrateful. It just means psychology is working against you. if he knows you'll reply instantly every single time, or that you'll cancel your own plans just to fit into his, there's no urgency, no anticipation, no chase. Attraction dies in that space of predictability. On the other hand, when you create moments of distance, when you have your own life, your own priorities, and he realizes that he doesn't automatically get all your time just because he wants it, something powerful happens. He begins to think about you. He begins to replay your last conversation. He checks his phone, hoping you'll message, and he feels that subtle ache of wanting to close the gap between you. That ache, that space, is what creates craving. It's not about playing hard to get in a manipulative way. It's about respecting yourself enough to not always be at someone's disposal. Space also allows a man to process his feelings. In constant communication, there's no room for reflection. But when he goes hours or a day without hearing from you, he has the chance to realize what your presence means. He remembers how your laugh made him feel, how the last moment together energized him. That quiet time is when his mind does the work of building attachment. Without that space, there's no build-up, no longing, no chance for his heart to recognize your value. It's easy to think that closeness is built only through presence, but real closeness is built by allowing distance and then reconnecting with renewed appreciation. That's the rhythm that keeps things alive together, apart together again. Think of music. It's not just the notes that make it beautiful, it's the spaces between them. Relationships work the same way. When you create space, you're also showing that you have independence. You have a life that doesn't revolve solely around him. That makes you more attractive because it shows you're not needy, you're not desperate. You're with him because you choose to be, not because you have nothing else going on, and that choice makes your presence more meaningful. So don't fear giving space. Don't be afraid of silence. Don't assume that stepping back will make him lose interest. In reality, stepping back is often what keeps interest alive. It's what gives him the opportunity to miss you, to chase you, to feel that pull toward you. Presence without absence becomes invisible. But when he feels the absence, your presence becomes unforgettable. That's when he doesn't just want you, he feels addicted to you. Attraction isn't built on flat lines of consistency, it's built on contrast. What makes a person addictive isn't that every interaction is the same, predictable, or perfectly smooth. It's the shifts, the changes, the moments where emotions rise and fall that create the kind of roller coaster effect that people can't stop coming back to. If you think about the most memorable experiences of your life, they probably weren't ones where everything went perfectly from start to finish. They were the ones where you laughed until your stomach hurt, then shared a quiet, heartfelt moment right after. They were the nights where excitement and calmness blended together, leaving you with a feeling you couldn't quite put into words. That's emotional contrast, and it's what keeps someone addicted. The mistake many people make in relationships is thinking they need to stick to one version of themselves. Some people believe they always need to be exciting, constantly fun, constantly full of energy. Others believe they need to always be the calm, supportive presence. But if you stay only in one lane, you become predictable, and predictability is the enemy of passion. The secret is in mixing the two, bringing excitement and then balance, playfulness and then depth. When you can create highs and then settle into moments of softness, you give a man a full emotional experience. And that experience is what keeps him hooked. Imagine you're playful and teasing one moment, making him laugh, and then the next moment you're deeply present, listening to him, connecting on a vulnerable level. That shift makes him feel not only joy but also intimacy. It makes him realize that you're not one-dimensional. You can make him feel alive and at the same time understood. That's a rare combination, and rarity is what creates addiction. This doesn't mean manufacturing drama or playing emotional games. Some confuse contrast with creating chaos, but that's not it at all. True emotional contrast is about balance. It's knowing that while light-hearted teasing is fun, too much of it without moments of sincerity can feel shallow. And while being deeply supportive is beautiful, too much of it without lightness can feel heavy. The balance between those two states creates the dynamic energy that keeps attraction alive. Think of it this way: if every meal you ate was the exact same, even if it was delicious, eventually you'd stop craving it. But when flavors shift, when there's a mix of sweet and savory, spicy and mild, that's when your palate stays excited. Human emotions work the same way. If every moment with you feels identical, no matter how good, it loses its spark. But if every time he's with you, he doesn't quite know whether the night will be filled with laughter, deep talks, playful teasing, or tender silence, he starts to crave more. The unpredictability of the emotional journey becomes addictive. This is why contrast is such a powerful skill. It shows that you're not just one note, you're a symphony. You bring a man different experiences, different feelings, and he never gets tired of discovering what's next. The moments of calm make the excitement stand out more. The moments of playfulness make the intimacy feel deeper. Each emotion feeds the other. And this is the secret to building the kind of connection that feels unforgettable. It's not about being perfect or always getting it right. It's about creating a rhythm that keeps him emotionally engaged. When you give him laughter and depth, excitement and calm, adventure and safety, you're not just another person in his life. You become the person who gives him the full spectrum of feelings, and that's what makes him truly addicted to you. One of the most magnetic things you can ever show in a relationship is independence. It's the quality that makes someone see you not as an extension of their life, but as a complete person they feel lucky to have access to. Too many people fall into the trap of thinking that dependence equals love, that showing someone how much you need them will somehow make them stay. But what truly makes a person addicted is not when you rely on them for your happiness. It's when you already have your own happiness and they get to be a part of it. Independence is sexy because it shows strength, it shows confidence, and it shows that you are with them because you choose to be, not because you can't function without them. Think about the difference in energy between someone who clings to you for validation and someone who has their own world, their own passions, their own rhythm, but still makes time for you. With the first person, the connection starts to feel heavy. You feel like you're responsible for carrying their emotions, their sense of worth, and their joy. That weight eventually becomes suffocating. With the second person, it feels light, it feels inspiring. You're drawn to them because they already radiate fulfillment, and being around them enhances your own life. That's the kind of energy that keeps someone addicted. It doesn't drain, it energizes. A man may be flattered when someone depends on him entirely, but in the long run, that dependence doesn't hold attraction. What actually keeps him coming back is the realization that you're not afraid to stand alone, that you're not waiting for him to give you purpose, but you already have one. When he sees that you have your own goals, your own dreams, your own passions, he starts to admire you. He feels inspired by you. He sees you as a partner, not a passenger, and that shift changes everything. Independence also creates a sense of respect. When you set boundaries, when you protect your time, when you don't compromise your entire identity just to fit into his life, he learns that your presence is something valuable. He knows he has to rise to meet you, not that you'll shrink yourself to keep him comfortable. And here's the beautiful irony: when you don't need him for your happiness, he feels a stronger pull to want to be part of your world. The freedom you give yourself becomes the very thing that keeps him chasing you. This doesn't mean shutting him out or acting distant. Independence isn't about building walls. It's about having a strong foundation of your own. It's showing that you love deeply, but you don't lose yourself in that love. You can share your life while still holding on to who you are. And that balance is what makes someone realize they've found someone rare. When you think about the people you admire most, chances are they're individuals who have a strong sense of self. They're not defined solely by their relationships. They bring their own energy, their own light wherever they go. That's exactly what keeps a man addicted. You're not just his partner, you're a force of your own. Being around you doesn't just make him feel loved, it makes him feel alive, because he's connecting with someone who's already complete. So never underestimate the power of independence. It's not about being cold. It's not about rejecting closeness. It's about showing that your love is a choice, not a dependency. And when a man knows you're with him because you want him, not because you need him, that's when he feels truly addicted to you. Confidence has a way of transforming the simplest interaction into something unforgettable. The way you communicate with someone can either make the connection feel flat or make it feel like the most exciting part of their day. And one of the greatest skills you can master is playful confidence. It's that mix of light teasing, humor, and self-assurance that makes every conversation feel alive. When you bring that energy, you're not just talking, you're creating an experience. And experiences are what people get addicted to. Think about the difference between someone who answers every question with safe, predictable responses and someone who adds a spark of playfulness. If he says something obvious and you respond with a witty tease, it shifts the energy immediately. He's not just hearing words, he's feeling chemistry. Playful confidence doesn't mean being sarcastic or mean-spirited. It means adding just enough spice to keep things fun. It's about showing that you're comfortable enough in yourself to take risks in conversation, to laugh at yourself, to laugh with him, and to not take every word too seriously. That lightness is magnetic. What makes this skill so powerful is that it disrupts routine. Most conversations people have on a daily basis are mechanical. How are you? I'm fine. What are you doing? Not much. Those exchanges don't stir emotions. But when you bring humor, when you add playfulness, suddenly he feels something different. He feels excitement, surprise, curiosity. That shift from the ordinary to the extraordinary is what plants you in his mind long after the conversation ends. Confidence is the key ingredient here, because without it, playfulness can feel forced. True confidence is when you're not afraid of being misunderstood, you're not waiting for approval, and you don't need every word to land perfectly. You're simply comfortable being yourself, and that comfort is contagious. When you joke, when you tease, when you say something bold, it works because it comes from a place of ease. You're not performing for him, you're enjoying yourself, and he naturally gets pulled into that energy. The other layer of playful confidence is knowing when to switch gears. You might tease him in one moment, but then lean into sincerity in the next. That shift makes him realize you're not just fun, you're also emotionally grounded. It shows depth. Too much teasing without sincerity feels shallow, and too much seriousness without playfulness feels heavy. But when you master the dance between both, you create a rhythm that's impossible to forget. And let's be clear, playful confidence isn't about always being witty or constantly cracking jokes. It's about the way you carry yourself in conversation. It's about not being afraid to make eye contact, not being afraid of silence, not being afraid to challenge him a little. When you can lightly push back, when you can show that you're not just going to nod along to everything he says, it makes him sit up and take notice. You become more than just another voice in his day. You become the voice that keeps replaying in his head. When you communicate with playful confidence, you're showing that you're already whole. You're not waiting for him to validate you or carry the interaction. You're bringing your own energy, and that energy makes you irresistible. Men don't get addicted to people who just agree with everything or people who never surprise them. They get addicted to the ones who make them feel something different every time they talk. the ones who keep them on their toes, the ones who combine humor with authenticity. So don't hold back your playful side. Don't shrink from teasing. Don't be afraid of a little boldness. Lean into the fun, lean into the lightness, and watch how every interaction starts to feel like a spark. When he feels both the joy of laughter and the comfort of sincerity in your presence, he'll keep coming back for more. That's the power of playful confidence. It doesn't just make him enjoy talking to you, it makes him crave it. And once he craves your conversations, he craves you. One of the most powerful ways to make someone addicted to you is to understand the value of effort. Many people make the mistake of giving their attention, affection, and love freely without considering the dynamics of desire and investment. When you reward effort rather than just giving unconditional attention for minimal action, you create a sense of worth that's deeply magnetic. People naturally value what they work for, and when a man realizes that you notice, appreciate, and respond to his genuine effort, it builds a connection that feels earned, meaningful, and impossible to let go of. Think about it, if everything comes easily, the brain quickly adapts and loses interest. That's why relationships where one person is constantly giving without boundaries often feel flat over time. But when effort is recognized and valued, it becomes stimulating. You're not asking for grand gestures every time, but you're showing that you notice when he invests in the relationship, when he goes out of his way, or when he takes the initiative. That acknowledgement creates a positive feedback loop. He feels good for trying, and he wants to continue because it leads to reward, both emotionally and in the bond you share. It's not about being manipulative or withholding affection to test him. It's about consciously choosing to respond to meaningful engagement rather than the bare minimum. When a man understands that your attention, your presence, and your affection are valuable, he naturally begins to prioritize them. He begins to consider his actions more thoughtfully. He wants to show up because he knows that what he brings to the table matters, and that sense of accomplishment fuels desire. That's how addiction forms, not through coercion, but through meaningful connection and mutual investment. Another critical aspect of this is setting standards that reflect self-respect. If you accept lackluster effort as enough, he will unconsciously learn that he doesn't need to try. But when you consistently appreciate initiative and action, you communicate a subtle yet powerful message. Your time, your attention, and your affection are not guaranteed. They are given to those who demonstrate they are worthy. This isn't about being difficult. It's about creating a framework where effort and intentionality are rewarded, which naturally deepens attraction. It's also about reinforcing emotional engagement. When he does something small but thoughtful, acknowledging it sincerely makes him feel seen. That feeling of being truly appreciated isn't something that comes easily, and when he experiences it with you, it becomes addictive. He begins to associate positive feelings with investing in you, which strengthens emotional attachment. Over time, the relationship evolves into a dynamic where he feels both respected and desired, a combination that is incredibly compelling. Furthermore, rewarding effort encourages growth. Men, like most people, want to feel competent and capable. When you respond to his attempts, whether it's in planning a date, showing affection, or supporting your needs, with recognition and warmth, you validate his contribution and encourage him to continue evolving. That sense of progress and accomplishment in the relationship makes him emotionally invested on a deeper level. Ultimately, the secret is understanding that attention and affection should feel earned, not automatic. By valuing effort, you create a dynamic where he's motivated to engage fully, to show up intentionally, and to continue nurturing the bond. It's not about creating tension or making him chase endlessly. It's about creating a relationship where his investment matters, where his actions have impact, and where he feels deeply connected because he actively contributes. That sense of meaningful involvement is what keeps him addicted. When a man knows that his effort leads to connection, appreciation, And emotional fulfillment, he doesn't just want to be with you, he wants to ever invest in you. That is the ultimate form of attraction, a bond built on mutual respect, engagement, and recognition, where desire grows naturally because it's earned, felt, and cherished